For years, Outlander fans have looked at Sam Heughan and seen strength first. They have seen the warrior, the protector, the man who could stand in the middle of heartbreak and still make Jamie Fraser feel unshakable. But every so often, Sam says something that cuts through that image and reminds everyone that behind the legend built around him, there's a real person carrying the weight of everything this role has meant. That is why this confession feels different. It is not another interview moment, not another polished answer given to promote a season or celebrate a milestone. It lands because it seems to come from a quieter place, the kind of place fans recognize instantly because they have watched Sam grow with this story. He is not just talking about a character anymore. He is talking like someone who has lived with Jamie Fraser in his bones. And for fans, that changes everything. Because Sam Heughan has never been just a face attached to a popular series. To millions of viewers, he became the emotional doorway into Outlander. His performance gave Jamie tenderness that made the romance believable, but also a pain that made the story unforgettable. Fans did not simply admire him because he looked heroic in costume. They trusted him because he made Jamie feel human, flawed, devoted, stubborn, broken, and brave. So when Sam breaks his silence with something that feels personal, people listen differently. They do not hear only the words. They hear the years behind them. They hear the long days on set, the emotional scenes with Caitriona Balfe, the pressure of carrying one of television's most beloved couples, and the strange reality of becoming inseparable from a fictional man fans feel they know. That is the emotional power of this moment. It forces fans to look past the fantasy and consider the person who helped create it. There has always been a contrast at the heart of Sam's public image. On screen, Jamie Fraser can appear fearless, even when his world is falling apart. Off-screen, Sam often comes across as warm, playful, careful, and deeply aware of what Outlander means to its audience. That contrast is part of what makes fans so protective of him. They see the charm, but they also sense the pressure. They see the smile, but they wonder what it costs to return to scenes filled with loss, longing, sacrifice, and impossible love. This confession, then, feels less like a headline and more like a crack in the armor. It reminds fans that playing Jamie Fraser for so many years is not just a job that ends when the cameras stop rolling. A role like that follows an actor. It shapes how the public sees him, how interviews are framed, how every friendship is analyzed, how every quiet pause becomes meaningful to people searching for clues. Sam's connection with Caitriona Balfe has always been admired because of the trust they bring to Jamie and Claire. But that admiration also creates expectation. Fans want honesty, but they also want magic. They want reality, but they do not want the dream disturbed. That is why his silence, whenever it existed around certain emotions, always felt loud. Fans filled the gaps with questions. Was he exhausted? Was he grateful? Was he ready to move on? Was there something about Outlander's ending, legacy, or emotional impact that he had not fully said? Now, with this confession, viewers feel as though a door has opened slightly. Not enough to reveal everything, but enough to make them lean closer. And what they seem to find there is not scandal. It is sincerity. That is what makes the reaction so powerful. Outlander fans are not shocked because Sam said something unexpected. They're moved because the moment feels earned. After years of watching him stand at the center of one of television's most passionate love stories, fans can sense when his words carry history. They can feel when a comment is not just about promotion. Maybe that is why this confession has changed how people see him. It does not make Sam smaller than the heroic image fans adore. It makes him more real, more layered, more connected to the emotional journey that made Outlander matter. What makes this confession difficult for Outlander fans to ignore is not only what Sam Heughan appears to be saying, it is what his words represent after years of silence, patience, speculation, and emotional investment. Fans are not reacting as if this is a celebrity quote. They are reacting as people who have followed a journey that has become part of their lives. For viewers, Sam's confession feels bigger because Outlander has never been just another television show. It arrived as a sweeping love story, but over time it became something more personal. It became comfort, escape, heartbreak, history, and hope. Jamie and Claire were not watched from a distance. They were carried into living rooms, late-night conversations, fan pages, rewatch marathons, and debates about love, loyalty, sacrifice, and fate. So when Sam speaks with unusual honesty, fans connect it to that larger emotional world. They wonder whether he is only reflecting on his own experience, or whether he is quietly acknowledging the weight of an era coming to an end. That is where the suspense begins. Because every Outlander fan knows the final chapters are not just about plot. They are about saying goodbye to a relationship that has shaped how millions imagine devotion. This is why the confession feels charged with meaning. Sam has spent years standing beside Caitriona Balfe at the heart of the series, building a trust that made Jamie and Claire feel impossibly real. Their chemistry was never only about romantic dialogue or dramatic scenes. It came from timing, vulnerability, stillness, humor, and the emotional bravery both actors brought to moments that could have easily felt staged. Fans noticed that. They protected it. They discussed it endlessly because it became the soul of the show. And now, when Sam says something that sounds personal, fans hear echoes of that bond. Not in a reckless or scandalous way, but in the deeper artistic sense. They hear two actors who gave years of their lives to characters who demanded everything from them. They hear the exhaustion behind epic love scenes, the discipline behind painful separations, and the trust required to keep returning to Jamie and Claire with honesty. That is what fans believe Sam's confession may be pointing toward. Not one shocking secret, but the emotional cost of being connected to something so beloved for so long. There is also the timing. Outlander fans are sensitive to timing because the series has always trained them to pay attention. A pause matters. A look matters. A farewell line can carry three meanings. So if Sam chooses this moment to speak openly, fans cannot help asking why now. Is he preparing himself for the ending? Is he preparing the audience? Or is he finally allowing himself to admit how deeply this story has shaped him? Those questions are exactly why the confession has spread quickly among fans. It gives them something emotional to hold onto while also making them uneasy. They want Sam to be honest, but honesty can be bittersweet. It can confirm that the magic they loved was real, while also reminding them that the people who created it may be ready, or forced, to step into a different chapter. That contrast is painful. Fans want closure, but they fear finality. They want Sam to grow beyond Jamie Fraser, but they also cannot imagine Outlander without his presence. They celebrate his future, yet part of them still clings to the image of Jamie standing beside Claire, unbroken by time, war, distance, and loss. This is why the confession feels like more than a statement. It feels like a mirror. It reflects Sam's journey, but it also reflects the audience's attachment. Fans are realizing that their reaction is not only about him. It's about what Outlander gave them, what it asked from them emotionally, and what it will mean when the story begins to close. Maybe Sam's words are simple. Maybe they are being felt so deeply because fans are already grieving the end before it fully arrives. But that is the power of a show like Outlander. It turns performances into memories, characters into companions, and confessions into moments that feel personal. And if this confession proves anything, it is that Sam Heughan's connection to Outlander was never ordinary. It became a legacy. It became a bond. And for fans who are not ready to let go, that makes every honest word feel like part of a